What happens to a man's blood when it stops being liquid and starts spreading like glass cracking under pressure? At 4:12 a.m. on October 14, 2011, inside Vault B3 beneath First Pacific Trust in Seattle, the security system logged a pressure drop no banking protocol had ever accounted for. It wasn't a robbery alarm. It was a single line in the log stating the room's gravity had been redistributed, a word no security engineer had ever needed to use before. Marcus Feld, 41, a former Marine, 12 years of service without a single recorded failure. Danny Reyes, 27, on his second shift for the past 8 months, still learning the corridors. At 4:15, the cameras show both men walking normally down the steel corridor, their footsteps echoing between reinforced concrete walls. 3 seconds later, both men fall, not to the floor, sideways, into the vault's reinforced glass wall, 4 inches thick, engineered to withstand a .50 caliber round, without so much as cracking. The FBI forensic team found the glass intact. No cracks, no shattering, no point of entry. But inside it, like insects caught in still warm resin, were the 2 bodies, and their blood was no longer inside their veins. It was distributed through the glass itself, in thin, branching filaments, like microscopic roots, as if it had been drawn cell by cell out of their bodies and woven directly into the material around them. The medical examiner tried to collect a sample by needle puncture. It wouldn't penetrate. The glass, exactly where skin should have been, had the same hardness as the rest of the panel, cold to the touch, even under forensic lights that had been running for hours. Their blood had turned to glass. And 18 days later, when someone finally thought to weigh that panel again, they found it was still spreading. If you're wearing headphones right now, look at your own hands. Feel the pulse in your wrist. That's the only thing separating you from becoming part of a wall. The FBI needed an explanation that would fit in a report. The one they found lasted 11 days. The initial theory, a directed energy weapon capable of altering molecular density from a distance, fired at the vault, which held classified defense contracts on level B3, protected by 3 layers of federal clearance. It made sense on paper. Engineers from Boeing, brought in as outside consultants, validated the hypothesis on a preliminary basis, citing similar field displacement tests in controlled environments. But the vibration sensor installed in the vault's floor, calibrated to detect even the smallest seismic tremor, recorded something no known weapon produces. For 1.4 seconds, the room's gravity vector rotated 90 degrees, not weakened, rotated, as if the floor and the wall had switched places for an instant, and returned to normal too fast for anything to escape what happened in between. That would explain the sideways fall. It wouldn't explain the blood. Dr. Elena Sato, chief medical examiner, tested a sample collected by medical ultrasound, the only way to reach through the glass without breaking it, guiding the needle by real-time imaging. The results showed no marker of trauma, heat, or radiation. They showed silicon in the same proportions found in the ballistic glass surrounding them, as if the body, in a single instant, had decided to stop being flesh. And the silicon kept forming. Within the following 48 hours, a second sample from the same point showed a concentration 12% higher, with no contact, no manipulation, inside a vault sealed under federal custody, monitored 24 hours a day by camera. Dr. Sato wrote a line in the report the FBI tried to remove from the files twice. "I no longer know if I'm examining blood or witnessing the exact moment it decides to stop being human." That was the moment the energy weapon stopped being the suspect. And their blood, still spreading, cell by cell, inside the wall, became the only suspect left. The silicon theory lasted 11 days. What destroyed it wasn't in the glass. It was in whoever touched it. The case was transferred to an FBI unit that investigates unidentified material signature events, active, according to two analysts speaking on condition of anonymity, since 1987, and deliberately kept off the agency's public organizational chart. And that's where the precedent no one wanted to find surfaced. Midwest Federal Bank, Chicago, February 1987. 2 guards. Reinforced glass. Gravity that rotated for less than 2 seconds. The case was filed as indeterminate structural failure, and the bodies removed by a Bell Labs team, using a process the file still refuses to describe, even under formal declassification request. It seemed to close the puzzle, a rare phenomenon, cataloged, contained, with 34 years of silence between one case and the next. Until Dr. Sato ran her own blood test 20 days after handling the original sample, following routine lab protocol. She had a 0.3% silicon concentration in her plasma. No direct exposure to the glass, no wound, no skin contact, only double-gloved hands in a lab under full containment protocol, followed to the letter across all 18 prior collections. Her body had quietly begun spreading too. A lab technician, reviewing the vault's audio from the night of the incident, isolated something logged as air conditioning noise. It wasn't. It was Danny Reyes's voice, recorded 6 seconds after gravity had rotated, when according to every physical reading available, he should have already been without a pulse, without brain activity, without any biological condition to produce sound. He wasn't screaming. He was asking with a calm the technician's own report called clinically incompatible with the situation. "Marcus, has your blood stopped hurting too?" The recording, with 40 minutes of capacity, simply stops registering anything, including silence itself, for the next 34 minutes. The First Pacific Trust case was never closed. It was only reclassified, along with everyone who got too close. In December 2011, the glass panel with both bodies still visible inside was transferred under armed federal escort to a facility in Fort Meade, Maryland, in a convoy that covered nearly 2,500 miles without a single documented stop. The official reason, evidence preservation. The real reason, according to a moving crew employee who resigned 2 weeks later, the glass was getting heavier with every report. And his own blood, exposed for 40 minutes while transporting the crate without proper protective equipment, began showing traces of the same material in his routine tests afterward. First, Pacific Trust reopened in March 2012 with a new vault, a new company, glass from a different supplier, in a deliberate attempt to sever any material link to the incident. No current employee knows what happened on the floor below, sealed in reinforced concrete and reclassified in city records as inactive technical area. But in September 2019, a guard at the new vault reported something before requesting a transfer the same day, refusing to finish the rest of his shift. The current glass, installed by a different company with no physical connection to the original panel 2 floors down, had started reflecting an image that didn't match the room. 2 men, standing on the other side, watching, motionless for the entire shift. His report was filed as occupational fatigue. The routine blood test, taken that same week under the bank's health plan, wasn't filed as anything. It simply never reached HR, and to this day, no one has asked why. If their blood never stopped spreading, the question is no longer about Marcus Feld and Danny Reyes. It's about how many hands have touched that glass since 2011, and how many blood tests, in the years since, no one thought to run again. The file remains open. You've just been indexed. If this is still spreading inside you, it's because part of you just touched the glass too. Share this file with someone who needs to feel that same weight in their pulse. Maybe they're the one who'll recognize it when their own blood test comes back wrong. Leave what's still spreading through you in the comments below. Your account becomes part of the record. And if this is the kind of file that belongs to you too, join the unit keeping these investigations open. The next sample is already being collected.